The art of boxing is considered a discipline of gentlemen where, beyond skills, it is the values of the fighters that help them go down in history as an honorable figure and not as a disgusting rat. Precisely, in today's video, I bring you a compilation of the most despicable rats in the discipline, exposing their dirty deeds to learn why we should not take them as role models. Stay until the end. After watching, surely you will also want to put an end to the plagues. David Haye vs. Tony Bellew. In March of 2017, David Haye faced Tony Bellew. Not only did he act with great arrogance from the start, but his ego filled even more after, at some point, managing to knock down Tony.
Tries to back Bellu up and just slips there. David Haye, Salin, but down he goes, Bellu! A countering shot!
Haye became overconfident to the point of thinking that victory awaited him in his corner, but he couldn't have been more wrong. In an episode, luck turned its back on Haye as Tony struck him, exposing his lack of ability and skill to escape the punishment he was enduring.
Salin dangerous, but here comes Bellu! A left hand wobble him! And David Haye here! And down he goes! No knockdown!
Oh shit, he can't stand up! This is real stuff! Looking like it's clean!
David Haye trying to clean up!
While Tony wanted to start the 10th round by touching gloves, Haye tried to attack him treacherously, revealing his nature as a fighter willing to do anything to win. Haye was forced to face reality when Tony, against the ropes, executed a combination of punches so powerful that, if not blocked, would have landed on the hard and cold floor outside the ring.
No power on them punches. This is where Tony needs it.
While I can't guarantee that a rat like him would survive a fall from such height, what happened certainly gave us something to talk about. Florian Marca vs. Tommy Broadbent. In July of 2019, Tommy Broadbent fought Florian Marca. With great arrogance, he harassed his opponent throughout the fight. He sought to humiliate him like a high school bully, ignoring the cruel reality. The boxing ring is a safe place for justice to make those who try to disrespect it pay. Not content with his poor attitude, he resorted to verbal harassment by mocking his opponent for his short stature. Beyond the murky limits of body shaming, this arrogant big boy was asking for a lesson. While Tony said, "I can't see you," Marca did not lose patience. On the contrary, he closely followed his opponent to find the exact moment and execute the combination of punches that would make the big boy reflect on his unacceptable behavior sitting on the canvas. The tables had turned, and now it was Marca who mocked Tony to make him even angrier. Frustrated for not being able to win cleanly, Tony delivered a controversial shoulder strike to Marca's chin. As the audience booed him, the referee gave him a clear warning about his behavior. However, the best retaliation would come directly from Marca's fists, who, with a powerful left, would leave him on his knees begging for mercy. Miguel Cotto vs. Ricardo Mayorga. Before the fight against Miguel Cotto, Ricardo Mayorga behaved arrogantly, even pushing his opponent treacherously like a rat. During the weigh-in, Mayorga's cynicism went further by humiliating Cotto, insinuating that he was not a real man. Once inside the boxing ring, Mayorga's attempts to provoke his opponent seemed to come from all directions. That's when Cotto decided to respond to all the disrespect from his rival, punishing him with a rain of direct punches to his face. Aware that it was a battle he couldn't win fairly, Mayorga made sure to make it clear that he was the biggest rat in the venue by illegally hitting Cotto in the back of his head.
Early in this round. Whoa.
When he tried to repeat his disappointing action, he even received a warning from the referee. Fortunately, it only took a decisive blow from Cotto to abruptly stop Mayorga's arrogant attitude. Retreating and fading away, he had no choice but to kneel before the one who had already dominated him. Like a coward, Mayorga began to approach the fight with greater humility, but what he really didn't want was to be punished once again with the severity he had already experienced. Like any rat, escaping when danger is near, he eventually decided not to continue the fight. Alexander Yushk versus Marco Huck. If there's someone you shouldn't have a bad attitude with, it's Alexander Yushk. However, Marco Huck decided to provoke him by pushing him disrespectfully in front of the media. But once inside the ring, Yushk took care of settling the cowardly gesture his opponent had with him by delivering a hook that immediately made Huck realize the mistake he had made. Aware that there was no way to beat Alexander fairly, Huck committed the most cowardly move anyone can make in a fight, attacking his opponent's testicles. Yushk even took a moment to make it clear how foolish Huck's actions were. But the real punishment would come a little later. During one of the attacks, Yushk slipped and fell to his knees on the canvas. An honorable fighter would allow his rival to stand up, but Marco Huck proved to be the most detestable rat by taking advantage of the fallen tree, delivering an illegal blow to the back of Yushk's head. Tired of tolerating Huck's despicable actions, Alexander caught the rat with a powerful and deadly combination of punches that the referee had to intervene to make sure the rodent left the ring alive. Jose Zapa versus Hosway Vargas. In a championship fight, Jose Zapa had to defend his belt against Hosway Vargas. Despite not being the champion, Vargas was disrespectful, pretending to take Zapa's belt and wear it during the pre-fight press conference.
As always, this is Top Rank, this is boxing. Wins, as always. Have a great afternoon.
In his mind, he was insinuating that he would take the title. But in reality, he was proving to be one of the boldest rats in the history of the discipline. Not content with that, while posing, Vargas continued the disrespect by stepping forward and opening his arms, dropping his flag, completely blocking Zapa from the shot. When Zapa tried to claim the space that rightfully belonged to him, Vargas swatted him with the intention of portraying the alpha male image that he wouldn't be able to maintain once he entered the ring. Before Sab Sadir versus Sam Maxwell. In March of 2019, Sab Sadir fought against Sam Maxwell. Everything seemed to be going well for Sadir when, early in the fight, he managed to knock down Maxwell.
He was good enough as an amateur to get to the final of the... Oh my goodness!
However, the gods of the discipline turned their back on Sadir once his opponent was already on the canvas and he tried to continue the attack to inflict more damage. Thinking he had already won against Maxwell, Sadir took an arrogant attitude that begged to be stopped. In the middle of an attack, Maxwell was saved by the bell and dropped his guard.
Who found the real shot that mattered in this opening round. Nice finish of the round.
For Sadir, it was a new opportunity to execute one of his forbidden blows and hit his opponent behind the head outside the regulation time of the round. Karma would not wait any longer, and despite having been ahead for most of the contest, only a punch of justice was needed for Maxwell to stop Sadir and make him fall dramatically on his back on the canvas.
And a face which tells a story. Oh, great shot!
Andreovich versus Edison Salin. There cannot be a more evident war of egos in the ring than when two undefeated fighters face each other. When Andreovich and Edison Salin fought for the International Boxing Federation middleweight title, destiny had already decided a deplorable ending for one of them. Just 15 seconds into the fight, Salin had already knocked down Mihailovich.
Jab early, a lot of the work against the southpaw.
This gave him enough confidence to pounce on his rival and forget the need to remain reserved. When Mihailovich began to counterattack, Salin realized that there was no way he could win the contest fairly. He exposed himself as a despicable rat by hitting Mihailovich treacherously on his chin, an action that the referee immediately repudiated.
The overhook there, he's tying him up, waiting.
Oh! One step back, okay?
Can't do that.
Apparently, the warning was not enough because he repeated the disgusting move before Mihailovich decided he had had enough of his arrogant attitude. Mihailovich's anger allowed him to execute a bloody combination of punches that quickly left Salin devastated on the canvas.
Goes to work Andre Miguel, stuck on the ropes, punching himself out of the ropes, and he's dropped him! And he's dropped it! He's got him stuck on the ropes!
Closely.
And Saltarin's down!
Alexander Amelanenko versus Miguel. Before his fight against Alexander Amelanenko, Mikhail Koklyev had an arrogant action. In a press conference, he took off his cap and threw it directly into the face of his rival, disrespecting everyone present, taking advantage of his future opponent having his guard down. Although Alexander returned the gesture, nothing could compare to the lesson in humility he taught this rat once they both entered the ring. From the first seconds of the fight, Koklyev could see that it was easier to take heavy steroids than to withstand the strong punches of real fighters. For Alexander, a quick and clean victory was not enough, so he succumbed to his opponent's main idea and put on a little show, dropping his guard and making gestures that served as a clear humiliation for the strongman who had shown himself as weak and fragile as any rat in the ring. When he got tired, he finally delivered the direct mortal blow to the cheek that sent him to take a moment of reflection on the canvas. By the time Koklyev got up, not even his legs could bear the weight of the shame to which he had exposed himself for his despicable attitude. Terence Crawford versus Jose Benovitz. Terence Crawford is known in the art of boxing for having the strength to clean his division with the blood, sweat, and tears of his opponents before moving on to new waters. Jose Benovitz was supposed to give Crawford a warm welcome, presenting himself as an honorable opponent for one of his early encounters. However, his attitude couldn't have been further from the concept of an honorable fighter. During the weigh-in, Benovitz's true nature emerged.
His emotions in what's been a very emotional week.
He was a deplorable rat who sought to attack his contender treacherously. Once inside the ring, it was time for Crawford's fists to teach him a lesson. Benovitz tried to show himself superior to Crawford, keeping his fists down, inviting Crawford to catch him with a punch if he could. Despite a couple of stumbles, Crawford did not lose focus. He continued to throw powerful attacks at the arrogant rat until he gave him the reality check he needed to realize that pettiness has never served as a lethal weapon in a fight. With Crawford dominating Benovitz in each round, only 15 seconds were left for the fight to end, and everyone thought both fighters would leave the battle alive. In those scarce seconds of the end, Crawford demonstrated his superiority by finally catching the rat and sending him to take a well-deserved break on the canvas.
Sitting on the ropes and shaking his head is not how he wants to end this fight.
Oh! Crawford gets on the finisher! They all expect him to be! He is! What a shoot!
Mike Tyson versus Peter McNeely. It was Mike Tyson's first fight after being released from prison, and everyone was eager to see if he still had the power that had made him the undisputed youngest heavyweight champion in history. In the front row to find out was Peter McNeely, who thought he would get an easy victory by arranging a match against an opponent who, according to rumors, was not in shape to return to the ring. McNeely not only radiated confidence in himself, but he was completely disrespectful to Tyson while actively trying to break his self-control. After the opening bell, McNeely went against Tyson like a rhinoceros, but his foolishness led him to fall on the canvas before he even warmed up his weak fists inside the gloves. Pretending that everything had been part of a show, he began to run around the ring maintaining his arrogant attitude. By the time he approached Tyson again, it took him only a few seconds to realize that the living legend possessed a power that he could not counteract. Playing dirty, McNeely tried to seriously hurt Tyson with an intentional headbutt to his chin.
He isn't moving, and he's letting McNeely get away with it.
Like any rat, he tried to press Tyson with controversial attacks until, finally, he was the one who broke. Only a severe blow was needed to make the immature fighter regret everything he had ever done to provoke the fury of someone like Iron Mike.
Tyson with a left hook, a right uppercut, down goes McNeely again.
They want Tyson to go to the neutral corner. What's going on?
After this level of humiliation, Peter McNeely's career was never the same again. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Also, I invite you to leave in the comments any other fight you know where an arrogant rat has been put in its place. Remember, arrogance is the greatest attraction for karma, and once it arrives, no one is spared from it.